Learning finally completed on the PR35 repair with a new set of 6L6s, and the bias has dropped into the perfect zone, about 19, let's be generous and call it 19.5 watts each side. You can see how closely matched they are. So come down to our calculator, 19.5 divided by 30 max puts us at 65%. Beautiful, mega happy with that. So yeah, all good. 1967 Deluxe Reverb, the last year of the black panels before they went to drip edge. Really interesting amp. Now, it has come in for service as required, so I've got carte blanche to do whatever I deem necessary so the customer can use this reliably at his gigs and practices and whatnot. Before I actually show you the amp though, it's got the original Fender slip cover with the Fender logo and Deluxe Reverb written on. I think that is really smart. Vinyl covering, very nice indeed. So let's get the amp, let's get the cover off, get the amp revealed, and have a good look at it. Now, he's just bought this, a bit of a dream amp for him, and it is in wonderful condition. The grill cloth, no staining on there as far as I can see, at least to the naked eye. Tolex, wonderful conditions. Maybe some slight scuffs, some bits and pieces here and there, as you kind of would expect for an amp of this age. But the faceplate is, again, in incredible condition, and then hopefully the close-up shots that you're seeing now show that off. Lovely, lovely undersigned badge. What a great looking amplifier. He's brought it in to me because he is obviously a very sensible person. He has asked me to do, well, to go through it and do whatever I think is required to keep this thing safe. It is a US model, so it is 120 volt, no 240 volt tap on these. So, and he is going to run it through either a step down transformer or a variac. He's got both options at home. I'm not going to do a 240 volt conversion on it. I don't think we need to for his application, so we'll keep it as it is. I don't know if this thing has been recapped, so we will find that out together. We're not going to be doing any work on it in this video. I'm sorry to let you down, but we just do the overview and then it's going to go in the queue. So at least we've got a plan of attack to what we need to do. Now, whilst it's in, he's also asked for some other jobs to be done, which I think are actually a good idea. The first one is that this amp does still have the original Jensen C12Q speaker in it. It is the green or blue frame speaker for the amp. Now, as far as I know, it's the original speaker and it's the original cone. If you are just going to keep the amp as it is, as a museum piece, and not play it, keep the speaker in. But if you are going to use an amp like this with an original speaker, best thing to do is to pull the speaker out, keep it safely in a box somewhere, fit a really high quality modern speaker to the amplifier so you can abuse that speaker all day long, no risk of devaluing the amplifier. And if in the future you do come to sell it, easy enough, swap the original speaker back in, no worries whatsoever. And so the customer has gone ahead and bought a WGS ET65 12-inch speaker, which is such a good match for the amp. So we will be getting that installed at some point. He's also asked me to perform a reversible modification to the second channel. These amplifiers have a bright cap on the volume control, and that is permanent, so that's in there all the time. Unlike the larger black panel amps of the time, which had them on a slidey switch, Deluxe Reverb does not. He would like me to make that switchable. So we're going to put a Bourne's push-pull pot in this position, and we're going to have it so with the switch in, the cap is out of circuit, and you'll pull it out to engage the bright cap. I think that's a really sensible modification to do to this amplifier. And again, if the customer ever wants to move the amplifier on, we can easily reverse that back to factory stock. So that's a really good thing to do. He's also provided a really, really nice pair of Mazda 6 V6s in here. So we're going to test those in the amp, see if they're matched in the amp, and if they're close enough, then we'll be able to run them for him. Let's pull the chassis. Let's give it a visual, see where we are, see what work has been done, see what work hasn't been done, and take it from there. Right, let's get this chassis pulled out then. I've actually got this camera on top of the amp up here. You can just about see it, it's there. Anyway, let's get this rear panel off and have a closer look at what we've got. Chassis number A18970. The rear panel, upper one, P1 as we call this is a P2 down here, is missing one of the screws. Customer knows that. It was very chewed up. He has managed to find some vintage Fender replacements. So he's going to get me some of those. So we'll just be really careful. Pulling the old ones out. Okay, P1 off. You can see that Jensen speaker there. It has had a 3-prong conversion, or I should say, it's got a 3-prong cable. Doesn't necessarily mean it's had a proper 3-prong conversion inside the amp. Okay, so whilst we're here, it's still got the Fender poker chip on the speaker plug. Very nice indeed. Unfortunately, it's got spade terminals on the speaker, which the customer would like me to remove and solder directly to his replacement speaker, which we can do for him, no problem whatsoever. Reverb connectors up here, red is to the left, so we don't forget that. We'll also pull the tank out at some point and give that a good inspection. So we've got the strain relief up here. That gets that out of the way. He's got some JJ6V6s in, and this, as far as I remember him telling me, is a Mullard, an old Mullard GZ34. And there is, hopefully you can see some of the remaining print on there. Very nice indeed. Right, let's get this out then. Chassis screws off. The eagle-eyed of you will have spotted that I did get my hair cut. And I went for the next grade shorter than I usually go for. Because obviously I am losing my hair, edging towards being a slaphead. But I don't like it, it's too short I think. So yeah, I guess over time I'll get used to it. But yeah, not particularly impressed with the state of my hair at the moment. Not that I'm vain enough to really care. Right. They're out. Let's pull this chassis out then, shall we? Have a good look inside. Okay, on the Susan. Let's have a look then. Let's start with the power transformer. 606 Schumacher, 27th week of, that's a 6, isn't it? 1966. The choke here, uh, 40th week of 1966, output transformer. 46th week of 1966, and finally the reverb transformer, 45th week of 1966. So most of these transformers are late 1966. It's only the mains transformer, or power transformer, which is from the summer of that year. Overall, chassis looks on the outside to be in quite reasonable shape. Nice condition, a couple of bits of staining and whatnot. All pretty standard, to be fair, so let's not worry about it too much. We spin this around. I think we need to have a look under the doghouse, don't you? We don't know if these have been done, so we'll remove the screws. 1, 2, 3 and 4. and then we can place our bets. There it is, we're at the centre of the camera. We certainly are. So, inside, we should be looking at, if they're original, the brown Mallory caps, the brown cardboard caps that are in there, usually. If it's been recapped, we would like to see some Spragues or F&Ts or something of a similar quality. So, do we think it's been done? And if so, what is in there? 3, 2, 1. 2 Sprague atoms and 3 F&Ts. So they've been done to a reasonable standard, and the 2 10K droppers have been done as well. So this is a good sign. Done recently, April 2025 by GB. Now, who is GB? Doesn't ring a bell. Right, let's spin this thing over and let's have a look on the inside of the chassis. So I'm going to pull the rectifier valve and the 2 output valves. Spin this thing over and we'll have a look. Very clean on the inside, very clean indeed. Shall we start with the power side? Let's come over here. We'll have a good zoom in again. And what do we see? We see 3-prong conversion. Death cap has been left in place. Oh dear. We've got our safety earth going to this transformer lug here. What you really should do on these is, it needs to go to its own dedicated point, but obviously it's difficult on quite a valuable vintage amplifier. But when you remove the death cap, there's a hole of which the other side of that death cap lead goes through to the outside of the chassis. You can put a solder lug in there, and that can be your grounding point. So no chassis drilling is required. So that's arguably, or the way I prefer to do it. So let's have a look then. It's had this bias cap done up here, up in the corner, which is a good sign. The tech code shows 3rd week of 1967, so it is a January amplifier. Yeah, even though it's a half print, those do match up. So that's good news. It doesn't appear to have had the mains or the output transformer or the choke replaced. All of these joints do look original. Original screen and grid stoppers on the output valves. Very clean chassis. Lots of blue moulded throughout. So we come down the line, you can see we've got an original Mallory electrolytic here. So they've recapped the power supply but not the main board. And we've got the these are dual section 2525s. 1, 2, 3 over here as well. I think this is largely untouched, which arguably is a bad sign, arguably is a good sign. It's a bad sign because it means the owner didn't keep on top of maintenance and servicing. Look at it the other way and say, well, maybe the amp just didn't need it. And the work that's been done on it is, just the bare minimum just to keep this thing going. So, swings and roundabouts, whichever way you want to look at it. The owner of this amp wants me to go through and do everything that I deem to be required. So I probably, most likely, will be swapping these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's usually 8 in these. No, that's right, 7, yeah. Okay, lots of the blue moulded as well. This is great, isn't it? What a lovely amplifier. One thing I did notice when he dropped the amp off, fuse holder down here, very loose. Standby switch is loose as well. Main switch is tight. Ground switch is tight. So, yeah. I think what we're going to have to do is the electrolytics on the board, do his mod on the front for the switchable bright cap, redo the 3-prong conversion, so at least he knows it's done properly. And that really is all we need to do. Once this fit his output valve, swap the speaker, Yeah, very nice indeed. I would almost be tempted to fire this up on the test bench and see what it's doing, but we won't. I've got other stuff to get on with. So I hope you enjoyed having a look at this amp. I'm going to make a plan of attack. See, even all your anode resistors don't look toasty. They look like they've had an easy life. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Cool. Excellent. Right. Moving on. Right, just making up some boards. I've got an Ainsley one here that I'm just about to drill and get the eyelets in. So that's that. But whilst I'm making boards, I need to get the one made for the Master Volume Twin Reverb, the one that's having a board replacement. So the original board in the amp measures 14.85 inches in length, but it is warped. So my guess is it probably was 15 inches long when it's brand new. I can't find any confirmed specs on that for that particular model. It seems to be slightly different to a normal twin reverb one, although I'm not sure why, because none of the extra components for it are on the extremities of the board. They're all internal. Does that make sense? So yeah, anyway, we're going with a 15-inch board for the time being. And I've drawn up the design on DIYFC, and I'm just going to offer it up to the board, then offer the board up to the chassis. Just double check I've got my eyelet spacing and whatnot correct. So if I just come in and attach this side, unfortunately the board length is longer than a piece of A4, so I always have to do a two-part board template and then cut it out. That looks good, doesn't it? Okay, so now just clear my space. Right, so what I'm wanting to do is just roughly double check that my component spacing is roughly correct. So if I line up the board on the end, I can see V1 components roughly in the same position as they originally are as I come along. So things to check, like the tremolo roach and the tremolo circuit, you'll see if they're roughly in line. Everything seems that I've done seems to be shifted slightly that way. So you can see that this cap here pretty much lines up with the cap on the board. So that's there. I mean, that eyelet there is roughly here, so I'm about 1/8 of an inch off at that point. And then as we come over, we can see, so here's my tremolo roach. Center line should roughly be there, and you see I've got it there. So I've got some squeezing over to do, and I think I've got all of this too far. So if I shift everything this way slightly, that will line everything up. You see my phase inverter again, I'm about 1/8 of an inch off relative to the board. Zoom you in, you can kind of see. And that's then putting my output, these slightly over. So this here should be about there. So I can roughly mark. So that's, you know, just over 1/4 of an inch, isn't it? Does it actually matter? Probably not. There's enough length in the wire that we can move things around. So I'm not overly worried about that too much. It's not going to be a millimetre perfect copy. It's exactly where everything originally was, but I'm not miles off. So I think, considering that we've got so much excess wire here, and you know there's going to be a bit of a lead dress sort out anyway, I think we're going to be okay. If I look at it this way, honestly, I think we'll be fine. Maybe I go back in and I just, this half of the board, so from this point up to here, so this side is okay. This side just needs squeezing this way slightly. And I think, to be honest, if I just close up this section here, so move the roach that way and move everything else across, that's going to give me what I want. So I'm going to go and make that change now, reprint the board design off. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Right, let's get this board out then. I've drilled the board and I've swaged the eyelets in place. So next job is to get this board out of the chassis. I've taken a ton of detailed photos, so I know where everything goes, but memories are memories. You know, I'm not doing this job all in one go. So there is always a chance that, you know, you have to step away and do something else. And when you get back onto it, you might not remember where you were. So photos are the easiest way to do it. And don't just do it from one angle, do it from loads of different angles as well, because sometimes there are things hidden. And if you can't remember where they go, especially wires, it can take a lot longer to sort it out. But hopefully you can all see what's going on. So we're just going to pull the board out the quickest and easiest way we know how. So let's start with the obvious things. And my tactic for this is I'm going to be removing as many wires from the board, but leaving them connected to where they go. And then hopefully it's going to make things a bit easier when we connect things back up. So we'll start with this grid wire up here. Thankfully, with Fender stuff, it's usually pretty obvious where stuff goes. It's not usually a problem. This one here, to figure it all back out when it comes back together. So let's get all of these wires out. I'll work my way along this way. That's my negative feedback. Phase inverter. Right, so let's have a chat. I'm not really going to do a Q&A this week because I had lots of lovely comments, but not many questions. So I figured we'd save some of those up for next time. But I do want to say thank you to everyone who sent their best wishes about Mum's dog. It's been a whole week now. Unbelievable. An entire week. He's gone. It's a week ago today. Miss him terribly. Such a good dog. Those who've been through it will know. You know, you'll know what it's like. You'll remember the pain of losing a really good pet. Mum's devastated. And I think she's feeling pretty lonely at the moment. So you do have to keep an eye on them. She's made noises about possibly replacing him, but with a cat, you know. So, because you can't, they say don't replace your dog, you know, try and replace them, because, or any pet, because it's just not the same. Just not the same, is it? So, but I think she originally said she wasn't going to do anything, but you know, being on your own in a bungalow as she is, without company, can be quite tough, I think. So, you know, she did make some noises, but we'll see. You know, there's no rush. There's no rush. Right, where are we? So we're already done these. I'm working my way along now. This is the next one. But anyway, so everyone who said, you know, sent in a nice comment, thank you so much. It did mean a lot. Right, that one there. Secondly, I hope, I've got a massive headache today. Absolutely insane headache. And I really hope I'm not coming down with something, because I've got a lot of work to do. Speaking of a lot of work, I've had an obscene amount of emails come in of people, you know, new sales inquiries, repair inquiries, but also people chasing stuff, which I understand and I get, and that's fine. You know, that's what you need to do, fine. But yesterday, which was Monday, I probably spent a good 3.5 hours replying to emails, which kind of unnecessarily, because you know, people chasing stuff or stuff like that, and it's difficult because it's time away when I'm not doing something. If I'm spending most of my day answering emails which, you know, didn't need to be sent, or could have been avoided, I think is a fairer way of putting it, it delays everything. So if you're emailing to say, you know, can I get a progress update on something, and ironically your repair is now delayed because I'm answering your email, yeah, that irony is not lost on me. So, you know, just everyone be patient. You know, I am a one-man band. I am very busy, and the stuff I'm doing, you would rather I do it to a high standard than rush it and get it quickly. So, you know, be patient. I never delay anything on purpose. I've got a reputation to uphold, and I want to do a good job for everyone. So, yeah, if you have sent me an email and I've not yet replied, please don't be offended if I don't reply immediately. I've still got an absolute ton to go through, and in fact this morning I'm already now getting inquiries for service work for January. So I'm actually going to have to turn some stuff away again, because I've got a lot of big projects on at the moment. Lots of builds to get done, a lot of rebuilds, a lot of, you know, complex repairs and stuff, on top of all the usual stuff. And it's not... So the only thing that happens is that people end up being disappointed. You'd rather wait, you know, you'd rather wait an extra week for me to do something properly than, you know, for me to rush it, it'd not be done properly, and then you have to bring it back. We don't want that. We don't want that whatsoever. So I hope you guys all understand, you know, I'm not being rude, I'm just trying to do a good job, but I've got a lot of work on, and patience is the key. So yeah, that's enough on that. So I think that's all of the bottom side done. If I just get these grid wires out of the way, the ones that span the chassis. The other one is this one, which is the reverb wire, reverb pedal wire, which goes, I think that's the one that goes to the master volume, isn't it? Or switches out the master volume. I can't quite remember. Again, I'll have to look it up, but we'll work it out. So that's everything on that side. Boom. Those out the way. Tone stack wires. So if you look, the treble wire from the treble caps on both one is green. The bass one is a light green, and the mid is black on these. Very easy to get them the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the bass cap with a Sharpie on both of those, so I remember which wire is which. So let's get in, get these out. I want to get this board out before lunch. And that one. Just trying to unsolder the minimum amount of wires possible. Right, so we've got that crossover there. We've got this high voltage wire from the filter board underneath. Come, there we go. So those are there. That one, we'll get these two out of the way. These are the reverb. Okay, do all my grounds last. So let's get these out. Tremolo. Hoping we can save this chap some money by not having to replace the tremolo roach, and we can reuse it, swap it across. Okay, got a ground there. Do those next. This is the send and return from the master. So the send has got the shielded on this side, on the board side. I'm saying that out loud so I don't forget. Okay, that's those two. And we come in, we've got brown high voltage. We've got white to the bias pot. You can see how easy it would be to get this to get turned around on this and get confused about where wires go. My screens, my other grid wire, and my return for my bias pot. Yep. Got a white here. Also, this is going to give me the opportunity to remember where... No, sorry, to work out if I've missed any eyelets out, or if I can actually get some more eyelets in onto my board to optimise where things go, or stop having so many components going into a single eyelet. Ground, ground. Okay, so that actually goes to that side, but that black went to... yeah, that makes sense. I have to do all of this in one go and film it all in one shot, and then I can store it just in case I get confused about where things go. So that's the where that grounds. Right, last one. This should be the last wire. That should be it. Okay, ooh, right. Board mount. One, don't lose it. Two in the middle. That, and the last one is over here, and we'll finally get to see the underside of this board and what all of that contaminated wax looks like. We're there, look, yeah, come on. Okay. Here's our board. Let's get you focused. Yeah, you can see all of this is possible conductive pathways. For the wax, you clean the wax off, but then you've still got to get any moisture out of the board as well. So that's why we're doing this board replacement. Okay, the underboard. Again, wax on it as well. These become conductive too, so you can end up with a double whammy. So to clean all of that off, you'd have to pull. You have to pull both boards out. Sorry. Fully remove all the wax. Get all of the moisture out of the boards as well, because there will be moisture in them. And then you're going to put them back in? No. Right. So whilst this is out, I can give all of this a good clean up. See, there's wax on the chassis as well. Right, so you can see I've just offered the new board up into there. That's going to work great. Yeah, quite happy with that. Brilliant. For reference, I've managed to get an accurate measurement on the board now. The underboard is 14 3/4 inches wide. If you flatten it down, it's bang on that. So that's the length of that. But the top board is a 1/16 of an inch, or sorry, at least a 1/16 of an inch wider than that. They're not the same length, which leads me to believe that they are, when I say hand cut, but obviously it will be on a guillotine, but they were done by eye, I would imagine, roughly. But the insulator board is ever so slightly shorter, although with the amount of solder and stuff on the underside of this and the way it's warped, maybe they are the right size. I don't know. But it's out now, so I'm going to get this board populated. I need to do my mounts first, so I'm going to transfer over the best that I can the original mounting positions for, is the board this way up? Should check really, shouldn't I? If I can reuse those mounting holes that way, and just transfer them onto the new board, that would be even easier. So it's those ones, isn't it? Yep. So say up and pot, tube, side. So I can offer that up, transfer the holes over, find the optimal place for them on my board. And then I know my board's going to drop and I can reuse those. I can just put my standoffs on there through those holes and my board's going to fit. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. I haven't told you about the clip at the start of the video where I was zooming in on that GZ34 and you can clearly see that filament was rattling around to those low bass notes. So yeah, that's what filament rattle looks like in real life, just kind of exaggerated in that one because you could see which part of the filament it was. Very, very interesting. I thought you'd enjoy that. Anyway, please give this video a thumbs up, or your comments and questions down below. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already. If you're feeling super generous, why not buy a t-shirt or join the channel that these guys have, and I will, as always, catch you at the next one. I know some of you will be interested as to how my race went at the weekend, all the way up to Anglesey, North Wales. Remember, we went there in July and I won third round of the championship. Went back there again for our traditional end of season race, and we were so lucky with the weather. Beautiful sunny skies, and I was really looking forward to it. So rather than tell you how it went, why don't you watch this? Okay, race start. Here we go. Coming down to the final corner. Racing the yellow BMW, as always, in front of me, and the white Almira in front of them. You can see them quite clearly. Lots of other cars around me, some upper classes. 8 other cars in my class behind, so I did qualify P3. Sol's on the radio. He's going to let me know when the lights go out. You'll hear him shout green, green, green.
Green, 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 green.
And we are racing. The yellow BMW on the left misses a gear change. That's why I've made good ground there. I'm going around the outside of turn 1, giving him some space. He's on my inside. You'll just see him sneak up there.
but I brake much later and I go around the outside of the blue Vauxhall Astra. Got the inside for turn 2, great start, accelerating hard down to turn 3, which is a fast right-hander, short shift up to 5th, pitch it in, the white Almira a bit slower than me, so I get a great run through the corner and I'm onto him now, fighting for the lead. He defends the inside, so I go to the outside. He then decides to defend the outside. I switch back, but then he switches back again. Forces me off circuit. Not good anyway. Braking hard up at Rocket. I try and go around the outside, but I run out of room. Onto the grass. Tricky one. Round the hairpin. Accelerate hard. I've got a Mark IV MX-5 behind me. He's not in my class, so he's going to come through. I give him space on the inside. I have a little moment where my front end washes out, but I go around the outside. He's got the power anyway, so off he goes. Enjoy the view, look at that, Snowdonia in the background. Irish Sea to the right. Tricky corner this one. I take a late apex, I brake hard and I accelerate hard. Coming down to the final hairpin on the lap, heavy braking zone down 2 gears. I'm in 5th, go down to 4th, then 3rd. Make good ground on the guys in front. Really close up on this Mark III MX-5. Keep an eye on him because I get very close on the exit. I pull alongside and I brake later and harder than him. I make the overtake. Unfortunately, I miss the downshift. It doesn't go into gear. I find that out the hard way. Pull it into gear. He gives me a little love tap on the exit. Heading into lap 2, turn 1, I pitch it in. Great line. He runs right wide and off circuit. I'm going to go for an overtake around the outside. He pulls across, doesn't check his mirror, and bam. Didn't give me a car's width. Damaged my front and rear suspension on the right hand side. And that's my race over. So I could pull off circuit, but I want to try and get it back to the pits just to make things easier at the end of the race. Get the car recovered. My hand is up to tell other competitors that I'm okay, but that I am deliberately driving slowly.
Crash, I'm out. Shit, I thought I could see you. I got squeezed by that Mazda. Are you bringing it in? I've got to retire, mate. I've got to retire the car.
And that's it. A 10-hour round trip for one racing lap. You can hear that front right wheel rubbing on the bodywork. Wave to my marshal friend, say what on earth happened. Anyways, come around this corner, get to enjoy the view for one last time. Irish Sea to the right, Snowdonia ahead of you. What? I mean, look at that. Isn't that incredible? The sun is out too. I'm staying out of harm's way with the other cars. These are the 2 little Citroen C1s that are running around at the back.
What's your furious, mate? I can't believe it.
Apologies about the swearing. Adrenaline ran high.
Yeah, got damage. Yeah, it's completely fucked, mate. It's fucked. You heading straight for the pit, where the trailer is, or you come into the actual pit? I guess I'm going to go into the pit, but we'll see.
So, because I've had an accident, I'm not actually allowed to leave the circuit until I've been checked over by a scrutineer, or the car has. So I bring it into the pit lane rather than the paddock. And we'll park it up. So there's Sol in front with the red top on, just telling me my wheels are wobbling out of shape. Bring it in, turn the car off, we'll make it safe, put the pin in the extinguisher. Some other people will come over to check that I'm okay, but just pretty angry at this point.
Mark III just
punted me off at the hairpin. Just shopping on the grass.
Was it the black one? Was it?
Yeah. Steering's broken. Gotta go upstairs. Yeah.
Was it the same one that squeezed you here?
The Mark 3, yeah.
Mark 3, the side one?
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Absolutely gutted. The guy who hit me, we had to go up to the clerk's office. I presented my footage and bits and pieces, explained what I thought happened. He explained what he thought happened. He blamed me. Naturally, I blamed him. And he was deemed to be at fault and got 2 points on his licence. So, he's the basic rule of thumb is that you're meant to leave a car's width, and he didn't, and he hit me. So he got 2 points on his licence. But in motorsport, you always pay for your own damage. You are responsible for your own damage and repairs. So the damage to my car, of course, it's fixable. It just costs quite a bit of money because anything suspension related, not only do you have to replace any bits that are damaged, bent, cracked, whatever, is that you then have to take it back to a chassis setup shop, easy for me to say, to get everything put back in the line and make sure it's all square and stuff. And, that adds quite a bit of cost. So, it's looking like front and rear suspension arms, a rear wheel, a track rod, possibly track rod end and bottom ball joints as well. Often if you get a whack, your wheel bearings get damaged, so they're going to need doing as well. So that's pretty much, for what was quite a hard hit, quite a lot of damage, even though from the outside it doesn't look to be the case. So thankfully, the car is next week. It's booked in. I'm taking it up to get the gearbox swapped. So I'll just take all the suspension bits up there, and my guy can do all that while it's in. I'm not doing it outside in the rain on axle stands. Not this time of year anyway. So, yeah, it's going to go and get all that done. Bit of a shame. It could be ready for the Boxing Day races, but I'm probably not going to do those now, just in case. The worst thing I'd want to do is stick it in the barrier again or have an accident, such as my luck. So I'm just going to leave it and prep it properly for next year's championship. So, of which, by the way, there is some very exciting news about which circuits we're going to. Some new ones for us, some incredible ones as well. Probably the best calendar I've seen. Well, it's your dream calendar for British motor racing circuits. It's unbelievable. So I know it, but it's all embargoed at the moment, so I can't tell you. But when I can, I will. And the calendar for the series in which I'll be racing, the silver BMW, is out. A couple of nice circuits on there, a couple of ones I will miss, but it's going to get some race outings, so I'm really looking forward to it. But I've now got a very long winter of not racing, which I don't like. But I will try and get a track day or two in. I know I can drive the Mazda fast, so we just got to get that fixed and prepped, ready for the championship. But I think the winter will be mainly focused on the BMW, getting that ready. It needs some work. There's some other work I'd like to do on it, but it doesn't need. But, why things are off, things are apart, while you're in their jobs, get those done. And see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm hoping to be out in that on a track day sometime in January, maybe early February. We will see. But in the meantime, get the Mazda fixed and we'll take it from there.